Hello students. This week we're going to study superlative forms of adjectives. Remember, last week we have studied the comparative forms. Let's begin. Superlative forms of adjectives. Superlative adjectives are used to describe an object which is at the upper or lower limits of a quality, like the tallest, the smallest, the highest. They are used in sentences where a subject is compared to a group of objects. Look at this group. We have a group of stars. In this group, we have 3 stars. A group consists of at least 3 objects. And in this group, we have 3. And when we make comparatives, we compare 2 things, remember? But in superlatives, the compared objects must be at least 3. Be careful. So, when we make superlative sentences, we need a noun or with subject plus a verb. This can be am, is, are, can, simple present, any. And then the before a superlative adjective. We need the. And then a noun or object. Look at this group. When we talk about this group of stars, we can say big as the base form. There is no addition, big, just the adjective. And when we compare the first and the second stars with each other, we can say second star is bigger than the first star. Bigger. And when we compare 3 of the stars in a group and choose the top, we can say the third star is the biggest of all. The biggest. This is superlative form, and when we make superlative, we add est at the end of the adjective. We learned comparative forms, and now we are learning superlative forms. But let's remember the comparative forms, then compare it with the superlatives. When we form a comparative sentence, we need the adjective, and after the adjective, we add r, er, or ier as the comparative addition, and we can use than for the compared object. Like Ahmet is shorter, adjective, and the addition. Ahmet is shorter. And if we say, who is Ahmet shorter than? Ahmet is shorter than Murat. We compare Ahmet and Murat, and we add Murat at the end of the sentence. And when we talk about Murat, we must say than. Ahmet is shorter than Murat. We already learned this. Another sentence in comparative form, Adana is larger than Antakya. We compare Adana and Antakya, 2 things, remember, comparative. And we say Adana is larger than Antakya. But when we make superlative sentences, super, the top, we need the adjective, but before the adjective, we need the, because we're making super superlative. So adjective needs st, est, or iest addition after the adjective. And look, this is another important using. We use of or in, not than. Than is for comparative, of or in is for superlative. How? Look, Ali is the shortest of them. What we did here is we compared Ali with a group. Them. Them is maybe Ali, Mehmet, and Mustafa. And we compared Ali with them. I mean with Mustafa and Mehmet. And choose Ali as the shortest and say Ali is the shortest of them. Look at the second sentence. We talk about the cities in Turkey, all of the cities in Turkey, and choose the large one. Konya is the large one, yes? So we say Konya is the largest city in Turkey. Konya is the largest city in all of the cities of Turkey. Look at this table, please. In comparative forms, I told you about one syllable, two syllable, two or more syllables, or we can say long syllable adjectives in that unit. Now we're going to talk about them again, because in superlative forms, we have some rules also. When we talk about one syllables, this is big, small, nice, tall, these are all one syllables. We add est at the end of the adjective. But don't forget using the for the superlative. The biggest, the smallest, the nicest, the tallest, the shortest, the strongest, the weakest, the longest. When we are talking about two syllables ending with Y, look, we change Y to I and add est. Easy. Our adjective is easy. When we change it in a superlative form, we say the easiest. Y changed into I. The busiest, the prettiest, the heaviest, the funniest, the smelliest, the happiest, the friendliest. Here we have got some adjectives which are more than two syllables, or we can call them long syllables. When we are talking about long syllables like beautiful, dangerous, intelligent, understanding, complex, interesting, difficult, frustrating, we must use the most before the long syllables. Remember, we told more in comparative form, and now for the superlative form, we say the most. It's similar. The most beautiful, the most dangerous, the most intelligent, the most understanding, the most complex, the most interesting, the most difficult, the most frustrating. On this page, I made another description about the superlative and have got some examples. Let's have a look. When we make superlative, we say the highest or the lowest of something for quality in a group. Look at the first example. Mercury. This is a planet. Look. Mercury is the closest planet to the sun. Close, not far, not far. It's the closest planet to the sun. Look at Neptune. Neptune is another planet, and it is the furthest planet to the sun. It's not close, it's furthest. Look at the car. It looks really expensive and fast, doesn't it? So we can say something like this. This car is one of the fastest cars in the world. There are a lot of fast cars in the world, and this is one of the fastest cars in the world. It's also one of the most expensive cars. And this car, look, it's very small, it's slow and cheap. So we can say this car, this is one of the slowest and the cheapest cars in the world, because there are other slowest and cheapest car, and this is one of the slowest and the cheapest cars in the world. There are a lot of mountains on the world, and Everest is another mountain, and it's special because Everest is the highest mountain in the world. It's the top. It's the top one. The highest for quality. It's the highest mountain in the world. Look at this picture. We are talking about Istanbul. Istanbul is a city of Turkey. And when we compare Istanbul with the cities in Turkey, we can say Istanbul is the biggest city of Turkey. But when we compare Istanbul with the cities in the world, we can't say that. So we say, but it isn't the biggest city, the biggest in the world. So, which are the biggest cities? Here we have got a picture. It's about Tokyo. Tokyo and Beijing are the biggest cities in the world. There are a lot of cities, a lot of big cities, but Tokyo and the Beijing are the biggest, are the most crowded, a lot of people, are the biggest cities in the world. And Ethiopia, this is a picture of Ethiopia. It's really hot. It's the top hot. So we can say Ethiopia is the hottest country in the world. The other countries are hot, but Ethiopia is the hottest country in the world. We make a comparison in a group of same or similar things, and we choose the top of all. This means here we have a group of people. We have a group consisting 3 people. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 lazy people. And when we talk about them, we can compare them like this. Cenk is very lazy. Look, he's lazy. But when we compare Cenk with Bartu, 2 people, we make a comparative with to, and we can say Bartu is lazier than Cenk. And we make comparative because we're comparing Cenk and Bartu, only them. And this is comparative form. But when we compare I with these two, we compare three of them, and this is superlative then, and we say I is the laziest of three. Superlative form. We have got exercises here to make you understand better. Fill in the blanks with superlative forms of words given. There's a very nice photograph here. A blue whale and a diver. Look how small it is and how large, how big it is. There are a lot of big animals on Earth, but blue whales, big animals on Earth. We compare blue whales with all other animals on Earth, and we can say blue whales are the biggest animals on Earth. There are no other bigger animals than blue whales. Or for me, according to me, blue whale, fascinating animal in the ocean. I can say blue whale is the most fascinating animal in the ocean. Fascinating is long syllable, so we say the most fascinating. I'm sure now you all know about Göbekli Tepe in Urfa. And we can say there are a lot of temples on the world. Göbekli Tepe is one of the old temples, and also we can say Göbekli Tepe temple in the world is the oldest temple in the world. There is no other temple as old as Göbekli Tepe. Others are old, but Göbekli Tepe is the oldest. And also, Göbekli Tepe is the most important touristic place in Turkey. Important is long syllable, so we say the most important. Don't forget the irregulars. With the comparatives, I mentioned to you about irregular adjectives. But also in superlative forms, the same adjectives are also irregular forms. How? Look at the adjective, base form, no additions. These irregular adjectives are good, old, far, bad. Well is adverb, but we added is in this list. Little, many, much. Remember, we changed them. Good changes better in comparative, old, older, or elder, like elder sister, elder brother. Far, further, or we said farther. Bad, worse. Well, better. Little, less. Many, much, more. And the same adjectives change as like this in superlative forms. Good, the best. Old, the oldest, the eldest. Far, the furthest. Bad, the worst. Well, the best. Little, the least. Much and many, the most. So, look, the changings. Good, better, the best. Old, older, the oldest. Far, further, the furthest. Bad, worse, the worst. Well, better, the best. Little, less, the least. many, much, more, the most. Okay. I gave you an example about the planets. Now let's see all of the planets here. First, write down your answer, then click to see the right answer. Look at this picture first, please. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Okay, let's say now. Earth is far from Sun. It's far. Look. Mercury is close. Venus is close. Earth is far, we can say. But Jupiter, look, Jupiter after Mars, Jupiter. So we can say Jupiter is further, further, further. Earth is far, but Jupiter is further. And Neptune, look, it is, yes, the furthest of all. When we look at all of the planets, this is a group of planets, and we say Earth is far from the Sun, Jupiter is further, Neptune is the furthest of all. Another example about swimmers. Good swimmer, better swimmer, the best swimmer. Let's make the sentences. I am good at swimming. Good. She is than me. She is better than me. And look at him, Michael Phelps, a lot of medals. He has got a lot of medals. And we can say Michael Phelps is the best in the world. Oh, that smells. Okay, let's make sentences by using these pictures. My armpit smells bad. Ooh, bad is our adjective. Shoes. Her shoes smells. Compare armpit and shoes. We make comparative two things and say worse. Bad is irregular, remember? It changes worse. Her shoes smell worse. And, oh, awful. Fish. We compare these three. This is a group of three people now. And we compare them. And we say, this old fish smells the worst. Now, let's do these exercises. Before I say, please you choose the correct ones. I give you for a few seconds. Okay, did you give the answers? Let's check them now. Arnold is thinner than, or the thinnest Martin. We choose thinner than because we compare Arnold with Martin. Two things, two people, just two. When we are talking about two things or two people, this is comparative. So we say thinner than. And the second one, Kızılırmak is a river. And we're talking about the rivers in Turkey, all of the rivers in Turkey. Okay? So we must say The longest, because we're talking about Kızılırmak in Turkey. And we compare Kızılırmak with all of the other rivers. So we chooses Kızılırmak is the longest river in Turkey. Then comparative in superlative. Here is a question. Is İzmir more modern than or the most modern city in Turkey? As I said at the end of the sentence, in Turkey, we are comparing all of the cities in Turkey and talking about İzmir. We choose İzmir, modern. So we say, is İzmir the most modern city in Turkey? Look at the fourth question. It's also another question. What is more dangerous than or the most dangerous sport in the world? Look, in the world. We're talking about the world and we're talking about the sports in the world and asking what is the most dangerous sport in the world. Look at the fifth exercise. Which t-shirt? Which is a question for choosing. We choose one. And look at the sentence here. The red or green one. We have two choice. Red and green t-shirt. Choosing two. When we see two, we understand that it's comparative and we say cheaper. Which t-shirt is cheaper? The red one or the green one? Okay, how can we reach there? Another question. How can we reach there? And we have got a choice here. By car and foot. Two choices. Two. When we see two, we say it's comparative. So we choose faster. How can we reach there faster? By car or on foot? The last one. Gorilla is a big animal, but bear is. Now, in this sentence, we compare gorilla with bear. Two things, gorilla and bear. So we say bigger. Gorilla is a big animal, but bear is bigger. And the rest of the sentence, we say elephant. Okay, and now we compare gorilla, bear, and elephant. Three of them. So this is a group of three. And we say elephant is the biggest of all. Now, let's do these exercises in superlative form, just superlative. We're going to use the adjectives in brackets in superlative form. It's easy. Just be careful. I want your answers first. Make guesses. Think about your answer. Then I'm going to let you see the answer. My grandpa is old in our family. Be careful. This is family group and we choose grandpa one. So, good. See the answer now if you are right. I'm sure you're right. My grandpa, the oldest member in our family. My grandpa is the oldest in our family. Burj Khalifa is tall building in the world. And the superlative form of tall is, that's right, exactly right. The tallest building in the world. Okay, let's find out what is the superlative form of big. Are you big in your family? Well done. The biggest, of course. Okay, look at the fourth one. Jamie gets bad marks in class. He is lazy of our class. In the class, of our class. In and of, superlative. And bad is irregular, be careful. Of course, the worst. And he is the laziest of our class. Very good. 5. Anthony plays basketball. Good in his team. In his team, a group. And we choose Anthony. So we say, very good, the best. Good is irregular. Adam and Richie are just married. They are new married. So they are very good, the happiest in the world. Can you carry luggage, heavy luggage here? You look very strong. Heavy in superlative form is the heaviest, of course. Look at 8.1. Who is the man in the world? Rich. What is the superlative form of rich? It's richest. Okay, look at this one. Clever. I am clever one in the academic group. We say, I'm the most clever one in the academic group. Okay, try this one. This is delicious food I've ever eaten. The superlative form of delicious, it's a long syllable. And of course, we say again, the most delicious. Mariana Hall is deep hole of the world. Deep in superlative form is of course, well done guys, the deepest. I hope you understood the superlative and now you could have the possibility to compare comparative and superlative forms better. I've got homework for you. Before giving your homework, if you have any questions about this structure or the comparatives, please ask me from K-12 or you can ask me from my phone. You know my phone number. Okay, here we have got a homework. Maybe you know about Matthew. He is a well-known singer. This is about his life and hobbies. I want you to do these exercises. They are all for superlative forms. Be careful. And do these sentences in superlative forms, please. And you read about Matthew. After you finish doing, you can check yourself at the answer key. But please do it first. I believe in you. Well done, guys. See you soon.